About 83% of you guys are not subscribed. Subscribing, clicking that like button, and commenting all help me out a lot in doing what I really want to do. Thank you guys so much for all your support.
What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing another Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. Here, I bring Phantom Knights. You voted, I answered. This is probably one of my favorite decks of all time. I love graveyards. I mean, I don't know what to say. I like using stuff from the graveyard. I like banishing stuff. I like getting advantage. And boy, oh boy, do I love OTKing. And this is what this deck does, is it OTKs. You can put up some pretty nice boards, and it can play through quite a bit as long as it isn't necessarily like Bystials. Bystials are probably like one of the main weaknesses of this deck, is getting rid of that graveyard resource that the deck kind of revolves around. But that's enough yapping from me. Let's get to the profile. One thing that a lot of people who play Phantom Knight might know is there's a lot of different variations of the deck. You play Adventure, you play lots and lots of extenders. Like, there's a lot you can do, especially in regards to the extra deck and the main deck, so I'm just going to be upfront. This is pretty much as pure Phantom Knights as you can really get, in my opinion. We are playing Tour Guide, but this is mostly Phantom Knights plus extenders plus non-engine. And in the extra deck, we are playing a lot more Xyz centric rather than Link centric. So, just getting that out of the way, and let's get to the profile. For our Phantom Knights, we are on triple Phantom Knights of Torn Scales. On ignition, we can discard a card in order to send a Phantom Knight card from deck to graveyard other than itself. Real great stuff. And if this guy is in our graveyard and we banish another Phantom Knight card from our graveyard, we can bring him back to the field, except he's banished when it leaves the field. Please note that if it's going to be banished when it leaves the field, if we use it as an Xyz material, it'll instead be sent to the graveyard. So that's a way we can maintain these guys in rotation. But this guy is very strong, and we want to be playing 3 of them. Next, we are on the next 3 of. We are on triple Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. If we control a Phantom Knight monster, other than just a Phantom Knight monster, actually, you can even have another Boots, you can special summon a Boots. You can just special it from your hand for free. Doesn't start a chain, doesn't start nothing. And then if it's in our graveyard, we can banish to add a Phantom Knight spell trap from deck to hand, which is real great. Being able to get a card in hand and trigger your Torn Scale means if you have Torn Scale Boots, you can go Torn Scale, normal summon, Boots, special, link off, Boots, graveyard effect, banish, add something, Torn Scale, special summon, and then we can pitch that thing we just added in order to use Torn Scale effect. So, real great synergy there. And then next we are on our one-ofs. We are on 1 Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. This guy, on-field effect is if he's used as an Xyz material, he'll automatically give the Xyz monster the effect to gain 1,000 attack on summon. Mandatory effect, and it does, start a chain, so a little bit suspect. However, it does have a graveyard effect where you can banish it from the graveyard in order to send a different Phantom Knight card from deck to grave. It's kind of like a bridge in between Phantom Knight cards that we want in graveyard and ways to trigger our Torn Scales, like getting the timing right, you know what I mean? Next, we are on 1 Phantom Knight of Ancient Cloak. This is debatable if you want to be running 1 or 2. I like running 1 because I don't like drawing it because it doesn't really do anything in hand unless I have a way to discard it, which with Torn Scales there is an ability to get it, but if we normal summon this, then we can't get that Torn Scales, and there's nothing really we can do with this. It has the on-field effect where you can change it from attack to defense position to target a dark monster, and it gains 800 until the end of our opponent's next turn. And if it's in our graveyard, we can banish it to add 1 the Phantom Knight card from our deck to our hand. That's going to be all of our monsters and 1 specific trap card that's in our deck. And then lastly, for our Phantom Knight main deck monsters, we are on 1 Stained Greaves. If we special summon a Phantom Knight, we can special summon Stained Greaves from our hand, and we can choose to make it a level 4. Or if it's in our graveyard, we can banish to special summon a Phantom Knight from our hand, and then we can choose to make that a level 4 as well. So that's just an extender from both hand and grave, and can deal with level modulations, which is great. For traps, we are on triple Phantom Knight of Fogblade. This is like a Fiendish Chain functionally, except it also prevents attacking and being attacked, which can keep you in the game, especially if you Fogblade your Cherubini, which is honestly not a bad play. And it also has the graveyard effect, where once per turn in the graveyard, we can banish a copy of Fogblade, target a Phantom Knight in our graveyard, and then special summon it, but it's banished when it leaves the field. That's a great way to prevent yourself from dying, like just to put up body blockers, as well as to get advantage at the end of your opponent's turn. Like, let's say they end on something unspectacular. End of turn, we can go Fogblade, target a card in our graveyard, not Torn Scales, to special summon it, and then Torrent Scales is going to trigger since Fogblade is a Phantom Knight card that was banished by its own effect, to then special summon itself, getting you 2 free bodies at the end of their turn. Great stuff. And then for our other 2 Phantom Knight traps, we are on 1 Phantom Knight of Shade Brigandine. If we have no Phantom Knight cards in our graveyard, no traps in our graveyard. It doesn't care if we have Phantom Knights. No traps in our graveyard. We can activate it at the turn it's set, and it's just a free level 4 body. It's a dark monster, so it can be functional as an extender. So there's just here as an extender card. And then we are on 1 Phantom Knight Wing. We're running this because it's another copy of Fogblade in the graveyard. It has the same graveyard effect to banish itself to special summon. This is a hard once per turn on Fogblade, so this is just a secondary copy if we need it. It also has a pretty good on-field effect where it's a one-time protection from battle or card effect destruction on a card. So, not the worst. And then our last Phantom Knight card is a rank up. We can banish a dark from our graveyard in order to rank up a monster on our side of the field. That is relevant for one of our extra deck cards. Technically, we can use it to go into multiple, but you're pretty much only going to be going into one with that one. But that's it for our main deck Phantom Knights. Here is Tour Guide time. We're on triple Tour Guide from the Underworld. On summon, we can summon a level 3 Fiend from our deck if it can't be used as synchro material and its effects are negated. Here is our main target for that. We're on 1 Graph, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. And then these typically will blow themselves up, but once we link Tour Guide and Graph off for a Cherubini, Graph will then summon from our deck a Seer. And then since Seer will be in a zone that Cherubini points to, it won't blow up. And then once we link Cherubini and Seer off, we can use Seer, your graveyard effect, to special summon a Burning Abyss card from our graveyard, being Cherubini, getting a free link 2 on field while link climbing. It's also really great we can send those to graveyard with Cherubini in order to link climb even further to get into a Rusty Bardiche if we don't have a way to get there. For our tour guide, we do have triple Kagemucha Knight. If we normal summon a 3, we can special summon it from hand. This can chain block our tour guide from getting Ash Blossomed, which is really nice, just being able to have that ability to do that. And then lastly, for our extenders, we are on double Emergency Teleport. Crazy card, really good. And then 1 Psychic Wielder. If we control a level 3, we can special it from our hand. I chose this one because it's shiny. Technically, Tracker is just objectively better because it is not a tuner. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have like a PTSD from when Halka Fibrax is legal. Sky Striker could use Widow. They could use Widow Anchor, or they could use Shark Cannon in order to bring back your own wielder in order to link it to Halka Fibrax. But people can still do that with cards that bring stuff back from the graveyard, like Zombie Vampire and stuff. So just keep that in mind. That Tracker is technically just better than Wielder, just because it isn't a tuner, and that's not something you care about at all. And your opponents might care about it being a tuner. We also do have an additional Itali target. We will be seeing that a little bit later. For consistency, we are on 1 Reinforcement of the Army. I don't think there's much to say about it. Adds a warrior from deck to hand. All the Phantom Knights are warriors. Great stuff. For interaction, we're on double Forbidden Droplet. I would like to be on 3, but I don't have another secret rare, so we're only on 2. That's half the reason. I feel like this card is very strong, but opening too many of it, especially in this format, isn't especially the best because people aren't necessarily building like a Drytron board where they're just putting up a Herald of Perfection. They're building a board with varied interaction. However, Droplet is still crazy in the ability to basically send all 3 types of cards from our hand to the graveyard, get full advantage off of them, and just win the game on the spot functionally. So I still think Droplet is like the best non-engine card to play in Phantom Knight, hands down. And then, speaking of non-engine, for hand trap prevention, we're on 1 Triple Tactics Talents, and we're on 1 Called by the Grave in order to kind of mitigate hand traps hurting us a little bit. And then speaking of hand traps, we are on hand traps. We are on triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, and then our other E-Tele targets, double Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. These are all level 3s. With Kagemucha Knight, we are actually able to combo off. We can go normal summon Ash Blossom if we don't have anything else to do, special summon Kagemucha Knight, and then we can make Cherubini, which is something really great. Also works for Ghost Ogre and for Ghost Bell because they're also level 3s. Ghost Bell can also help us prevent Bystials, so we'd recommend siding more copies of this. I'm just playing 1 in the main because I like it. It's shiny. What can I say? I'm like a crow. And then our last 3 cards are 3 more hand traps. triple infinite impermanence. One thing with impermanence, it has a little bit of negative synergy with one of the Phantom Knight cards. It doesn't really work that great with Shade Brigandine. If we know we are going to be going second, we definitely want to be siding Shade Brigandine out of the deck. But if we're going first, Shade Brig and Imperm are good together. And we're ideally going to be going first, of course. But that's it for the main deck, a nice solid 40. Now let us get to our extra. In our extra, the one, the only Cherubini Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. We can activate it for cost. We get to set a target and send a level 3 monster from our deck to the graveyard. And then the card that this card targeted, targets a Burning Abyss monster, gains the attack for the effect. So Ash doesn't work. And they can't even activate Ash against this card. So if your opponent tries, don't let them. They can't activate it. It's an illegal activation. Veiler does work. Imperm does work. And it's very unfortunate to see how many opponents will actually Imperm or Veiler Cherubini. I mean, it loses them the game, but also wins me the game. So if it's an actual situation where I'm not at the locals and not being chill, then I'm going to let them mess themselves up. But if I'm at a locals, I'm going to be chill with that. We are on the Lesbian Lovers. We're on one IP Masquerena and one SP Little Knight, the $100 super staple. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to say about these cards. Just really great cards, especially in dark archetypes that can put up link material. We are on the best card in the deck, the card that's always going to get impermed, ashed, etc. One Phantom Knight of Rusty Bardish. On Ignition, it needs 2+ dark monsters. It can't be used as link material, even if its effects are negated. And on Ignition, we get to send a Phantom Knight monster from deck to grave, and then set a Phantom Knight spell trap from deck to field. That's crazy. That's absolutely bonkers. And then on triggered ability, if a Dark Xyz is summoned to a zone it points to, we get to pop a card on field. Also very strong. It's a fucking Trident. It's very good. So we're only playing the one of because there's no need to play more than one. The only case where playing more than one would actually come up is if this card got banished, or this card with like Kashtira Unicorn, or it gets like Solemn Striked, or not Solemn Striked, Solemn Judgmented, or Solemn Warninged. Like those are the cases where this would actually come up, like the second copy. And then, of course, we're on the funny card. We're on one White Woman Jump Scare. I'm just playing this because we can put up a lot of link material without dark locking ourselves. There's only one card in our extra deck that does so. So being able to just link your opponent's entire board off is really nice, and it's a really funny card to go IP into Underworld Goddess. But that's it for our links. Now let's get to our XEs. We are on one, and then I dropped the other one. We're on 2 Leviair, the Sea Dragon. We can attach material from it, target a banished level 4 or lower monster, special summon it. Not just our banished, our opponent's banished too. Funny, but we're never really going to be getting our opponent's banished unless they really put something good and tasty in there. This is just a card to recycle our resources. Primarily, it's going to be used for Cloak, just because we're only running one. This is a great way to recycle it and get that on-field buff effect. So yeah, I think Leviair is really, really good in this deck, so playing 2 of it. We are on a double Phantom Knights of Break Sword. I'm very glad this card got a rarity upgrade. Come on, let's get a Rusty Bardish upgrade too. Can't be piss rare and fucking ultra the entirety of its lifespan, you know what I mean? But Break Sword is really good. These 2/3s, you can activate the effect to detach a material, target a card you control, card your opponent controls, destroy both, and if Break Sword is destroyed, we can target 2 Phantom Knights in our graveyard, special summon them, their levels are 4, and then we're locked into Darks for the rest of the turn. Really great stuff. This is how we get to our rank 4s, and this is also the only card that Dark locks us, so. But it is a Phantom Knight, and it is a Dark Xyz, so we are playing 2 of it, because it is probably one of our best, like, grind game cards in order to get rid of stuff. We are on 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, as well 1 Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. This is for our rank up. This is the main thing we're going to be using our rank up for. Dark Requiem can only gain its effects if Dark Rebellion is underneath of it as material. Dark Rebellion has an effect to gain, like, attack. Not really too relevant, so let's focus on Dark Requiem. Requiem has the effect with Rebellion underneath of it. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can detach a material from it, negate that effect, and destroy it. And if you do destroy it, you can special summon a Dark Xyz from your graveyard. Now, that effect is not once per turn. It's not even once per chain. So Dark Requiem, people hate Apollosa, Dark Requiem's Apollosa, but even more of an asshole, so. That's why we're playing Dark Requiem over Apo. Like, why do we need so many monster negates? We only need 3 of them that Dark Requiem has. And then we are on the oh no, you took too long, you are dead. Raiders Knight, Ark Rebellion. Raiders Knight will go into Ark Rebellion. Ark Rebellion can't destroy a card effect, so it won't suffer the downside of Raiders Knight. And Ark Rebellion will gain the attack of the original attack on everything on board. So if your opponent left something in attack position, like, I don't know, maybe an Apollosa, slam this guy into it, win the game on the spot. Real great. And then our last card, the reason we are also running 2 Leviair is for this card specifically. Run 1 Utopic Future and 1 Utopic Draco Future. Being able to steal our opponent's cards when we negate their monster effects is great. It's a little bit different than Dark Requiem because it doesn't put them in graveyard, justifying its purpose in the extra deck. This is probably one of the most cut cards in the list though, because it is a non-Phantom Knight card that isn't dark, that requires 2 extra deck slots and very specific setup. So if you were to cut something in the extra deck for like Link monsters, I'd say it'd probably be these 2. But that is about it for the profile. Please tell me your thoughts on it in the description below. What could I add? What's in your list? I'll take everything with a grain of salt because I have been playing this deck for upwards of like 4 years now. That's crazy. But I am going to be seeing you all later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh and the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or 2 before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.